And this is what they have done: the capture of the tribe of Judah. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. Slave traders were those who fitted ships sailed to the slavery coast of Africa and procured men, women, and children to bring them back to be sold as enslaved laborers. This was an expensive endeavor, and the slave traders were often backed by the rich and powerful, so we know who that is. In many cases, slave traders themselves were made rich by their work. The Arab slave trade refers to the practice of slavery in the Arab world. The term Arab is inclusive, and traders were not exclusively Muslim nor exclusively Arab, but the Persians, the Berbers, the Indians, the Chinese, and the black Africans were involved in this to a greater or lesser degree. It's the New Encyclopedia. Why did the tribe of Judah go into captivity? Let's read this in Ezekiel chapter 8, verses 15 through 18. It says, Then he, Yahweh, said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination than these. And he brought me into the inner court of Yahweh's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their back toward the temple of Yahweh, and their faces toward the east. He said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and has returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore I will also deal in fury. Mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ear with a loud voice, yet I will not hear them. So this is why the kingdom of Judah went into captivity. Here's a precept to that. Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 1 through 4. It says, The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, and with the point of a diamond. It is engraved upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altar. While the children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills, O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou know not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. So they set up places and wanted to serve other gods and doing all kinds of different things for us, turning their back to the temple and facing the east, worshiping the sun and all this. And this is what happened. They came into the slavery coast of the kingdom of Judah, or Wida, or whatever they wanted to call it. But it was the kingdom, it was the tribe of Judah that went into slavery and was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Now, in the route they traveled, the slave trade was part of the triangular Atlantic trade, then probably the most important and profitable trading route in the world. Ships from Europe would carry a cargo of manufactured trade goods to Africa. They exchanged the trade goods for slaves whom they would transport to the Americas, while they sold the slaves and picked up a cargo of agricultural products, often produced with slave labor, for Europe. The value of this trade route was that a ship could make a substantial profit on each leg of the voyage. The route was also designed to take full advantage of prevailing winds and currents. The trip from the West Indies or the southern U.S. to Europe would be assisted by the Gulf Stream. The outward bound trip from Europe to Africa would not be impeded by the same current. And this is the routes they traveled. This is some routes they traveled. Right here. All this going through here. And from here going back up through there. From here going over here to Virginia and Washington area. From here going down here to Venezuela, all through the islands right here. All through the top of South America. All in Mexico right here. In the middle of Central America right here. You go to the slave routes they traveled right here. And then took them from they came from here and went down this way. They just spreaded us all over the four corners of the earth through this way right here, all up going toward Europe. They took them from west part of Africa right there, and even from southern parts, southwestern Africa. This is just a transatlantic slave trade. That's the area they took them from, right up in this area here. Yeah, they did a number on us. So, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48 say, Thou shalt serve thine enemies, which Yahweh thy Elohim shall send against thee in hunger and thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So this is what happened. Had a yoke of iron on their neck, this way, that way, right here. See the women here. And this is what a true picture of them looking like right here, of our forefathers when they got over here. Look at them, got one of us with a rifle, keeping them in line. We always had sellouts. Yeah, we read that Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 1 through 4. Here's some of our women they made sit down on the ground when it first hit the soil over here in 1619. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 32, 41, and 68. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto other people. Thy eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt. A Greek word for Mizraim, meaning house of bondage. He shall bring thee again into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondsmen and bondswomen, and no man shall buy thee. Buy is an old English word meaning no one will save or redeem you. And he say, there it is there. That's an original sign that they made to be sold. Fine Hebrews. They didn't know what to, they know who they was taking. But they didn't know whether to call us Hebrews or Negroes. So they called us Hebrews. Sad. Deuteronomy 28, verse 37, saying, thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. Look at all the names they call us. Tar baby. Look how they got it looking. Look at they got the baby with the alligator. Got a baby head in the alligator's mouth. Look at them. Got to use our kids for gator bait. What this little thing say? Alligator bait, also known as gator bait, is the practice of using little black children as bait to catch alligators, done during the times in Florida and Louisiana and other parts of the American South. That's the black in America. They call us, what's the bywords they call us? Niggers, African, Moors, Haitians, Dominica, Negro, Sambo, African Cubans, what is this? Barbadians, African, Afro, Caribbeans, Saint, mulatto, Afro-Brazilians. Everything is Afro. So all we already know is the Afro-Negro who's the true Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah. The Afro-Negro, not all these other people they talking about, Indians, Native Indians, and Hispanics and all this here. Nah, Latino, nah. Yeah, Afro-Latino, yeah, I say that. But no, these are the Afro-Negroes scattered to the four corners of the earth. To be sold, 250 Negroes arrived in the ship. So, yeah, we came. They brought our ancestors over here in ships. And that's what the Most High Yahweh said was going to happen. Proverbs for Negroes, all coons look alike to me. All coons look alike to me. So who are the people in the land of Israel today? Genesis 10, King James Version. Verse 1 says, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, and Ham. Of Noah, the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Raphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. So, we're finna see. Togarmah had 10 sons. Kuzar, that's the Khazars. And whoever these other strange names are, for the Bulgar, that's the Bulgarians. Kibana, Alan, Pasinak, Turk, probably more likely the Turks, Kalk Turks, Booz, the Ughuz, the Kuk, Algar, either the Hungarians or the Augurs or Onagurs, the Ptolemies, Tyros or Tyre. That's Togarmah's sons, and these are the nations of people back in that time who's making nations. So Japheth, it was prophesied by Noah that Japheth would be enlarged. Genesis chapter 9 verse 27 says, God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So we know that the people of the land of Israel today are the descendants of Japheth. Noah said that he would dwell in the tents of Shem. Now here's a note that I made myself. A lot of people think that the United States is the promised land because Japheth is enlarged in the so-called USA as well as in the land of so-called Israel as we know it today. The land is divided and Greece is far away from the borders of the USA. There are many different tribes of so-called Indians in the USA. When Columbus arrived, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. even stated that in one of his speeches that the Negro is in exile in his own land. I know why would he say that. Okay, the Ashkenazi and the Khazar Jews. The following confusion of tongues at the Tower of Babel. Gomer's people moved north and west. The descendants of Ashkenaz are believed to have gone furthest, eventually reaching into Central Europe. A corruption of Raphath's name is thought to be the origin for the word Europa or Europe, while Togarmah is the father of the Armenians and the Turks, from which the Khazars came. So we know that it's Japheth's seed, that is he had a son named Ashkenaz, and Togarmah had a son named Kozar, which was changed to Khazar as the time went on. Now the Khazar original religion. The Khazar religious structure centered around shamanism known as Tengri, which incorporated the worship of spirits and the sky as well as Zulatry, the worship of animals. Tengri was also the name of their immortal god who created the world. And the primary animal sacrifices made to this deity were horses. This is the area of the Khazars right here. Right here. Now, if you look at it over here, in this area here, is this area right here, in between these two seas, the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. So the Khazar was right there. So here it is, right here, the Khazar nation, from right up here, going over all the way to the other side of Russia. So that's where it was, from Ukraine all the way up through Russia to the other side over here. So that's what the deal was. Here's the king. Here's King Bulan. Bulan was a Khazar king who led the conversion of the Khazars to Judaism. So he's the one who led the conversion from their Tengri pagan religion of the Khazars to the pagan religion they got now, the Judaism, because it's pagan as well.